I'm here with an American Moorish scientist, namely Moorish American, that enjoys sharing concept correction techniques pertaining to civics, and astrology. The forefront pertaining to this American Moorish scientist's mind is Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, and his divinely prepared literature that he trusts is paramount in assisting and uplifting fallen humanity, along with the literature presented by Brother Charles Mosley Bay, lectures by Brother C. Freeman L., literature and lectures by Brother Taj Tariq Bey, Brother Abdullah L. Talib Mozi Bey, Moors Heritage and History School, RV Bay Publications, and many more adept metaphysicians, present and prior, modern and ancient. Being a minister and consul for the Moorish Divine National Movement's first Aboriginal Indigenous Defense Ministry, he shares his experiences via providing introductory astrology for youth and elders on YouTube with Astrology Street, astronomy and astrology concepts on YouTube, civics on Facebook, and astrology literacy course promotions, and Adept invoking star seeds literature set promotions. Welcome, Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey, to the Avi Unfiltered podcast.
Yeah. What's going on, sis? How are you? Let me get my chin strap microphone going.
Oh,
yeah.
What's going on?
Chilling. I figured the sound sounds best like this for some reason when I have it far away. I don't know if you guys can really hear me, so I got it close. But I am great. I am great. How are you? I trust all is well, right?
All is well, yes.
Indeed.
Indeed. I was looking at your rings. I said I need more of those.
Yeah. I know. Well, peaceful greetings to you all. Namaste. Islam.
Namaste, Islam.
I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwest of Maxim. This is from Cabochons and More.com. That is 1, 2, 3, the Organite rings. She makes the Organite. I just, epoxied some, plastic rings to them and just so I can keep my Organite close or whatever. Because, I make puppets and things like that or whatever, you know what I mean? So, when in the midst of making puppets, I was like, you know what? I would like to keep my Organite close. So I just epoxied it and put it there. And then, I love to keep my silver on me. I'm a tropical sun sign Cancer, so I keeps my silver close.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. So let's dive right in.
All righty, indeed. Let's do it.
I was super excited about this interview because a lot of people are focused on their sun sign, and that's just where it stays at with astrology. So what are all of the signs? Like, what does the sun sign mean? I know there's the moon sign. Tell us all of the signs.
Well, I think because I'm thinking about the audience, and me, I can be so technical, Avi. You already know, right? Yeah. So that I'm not so verbose and pontificating about on my soapbox. I would say I think it would be good for people to get acquainted with their Trinity. Everyone has a Holy Trinity. I know people have been introduced to the Holy Trinity as Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or Holy Ghost. In truth, the Holy Trinity is where was the sun when your mom laid you down from her womb? Where was the moon when your mom laid you down from her womb? What part of a certain sign appeared to be rising on the eastern horizon, so to speak, correct?
Correct.
Some would look at it on a sidereal basis like that. However, tropic astrology is really based on the earth and not the actual constellations in the sky. Alrighty, because the start of it all is at where the path of the sun, alrighty, crosses the equator. So wherever the path of the sun and the equator cross, that's 0 degrees Aries for the earth, which is about 25 degrees and 1 minute's difference, which is called an Ayanamsha in Vedic astrology, from the sidereal or the constellation Aries as perceived from Earth. So I hope I answered that to just kind of let people know how you get acquainted with, your sun, moon, and ascendant sign is to first know that when you get acquainted with your trinity, you're really getting acquainted with the sun, moon, and ascendant's placement based on a zodiac that's based on the earth first,
Right.
so that one can be able to begin to grasp the concepts as above, so below.
Right. So in simpler terms, what do they mean for the person?
Now, the sun is the ego and personality. The moon is who you really are. That's the dictates of your soul, or your soul's dictates. All right. So like where you really live at, like, okay, so this is what's motivating me, and then the ego and personality is like the puppet for that. Sort of kind of how you shine out is that sun. But the ascendant, however, the ascendant, it's the how you do it. If one was to look at the sun and moon like Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
the ascendant is the pitcher from which you pour.
Got it.
All right.
Got it. I'll let it seep in and resonate, but I thought I got it.
I know, because at first it seemed like, whoa, he went on a tangent, but I was like, let me plant this seed real quick, and then I'll come right there. All right, so good. I yield.
All right. So what are the most important signs in planetary placements? Now, you touched on that, but I know there are more. Are there any more?
Well, I would say, the reason why I would see the Trinity being, for right now, for introductory purposes, for people to get used to, is because, the reason why they're, only associated with the sun sign is because there's a celebration annually that takes place commemorating the return pertaining to that sun. Okay, so it's like, the sun is about, well, it's not really exactly where it was when you were born until you're about 28. So you're not really one until you're 28, but that's another story. So we're commemorating, right? I'm serious. Don't believe me. Do the math.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So like when you you're commemorating this, and I think we call it it's called a birthday. Right, but it's not our birthday. It's actually our mother's birthday, because it's the day that she, manifested us from her womb. I really don't get into birth in terms of like, maritime language.
Yeah.
However, so that's why, I prefer solar return. Alrighty, so we're celebrating that, and that's why we're familiar with that. However, we're only familiar with that and only go, well, yeah, so I'm a Leo, so I'm only compatible with an Aquarius because they're opposite me. And, however, you may come across many Leos and feel like you're not compatible with them. And then you call yourself a Leo, and you're like, I'm only compatible with this Taurus.
I think your mic cut out a little bit.
Oh, really? It did? My apologies. So it's like, let me run that back. Some people may look at, am I compatible? I thought I would be compatible with someone opposite of me according to my sun sign, but they realize they may be compatible with someone who may see incompatible. Like, okay, I'm a Leo and they're a Taurus. Earth puts out fire because Leo is fire. So why do I get along with them? Maybe because where you guys moons enter aspect is really what's making things happen for you, or even how you guys ascendants may aspect or things like that. So it's like when you really start to know the three parts to yourself, then you'll have a little bit. I think it's better too, because people use GPS. And you can't use. I know you're laughing because I know you know where I'm about to go with this.
Yeah.
And it's like you're using a system that uses triangulation, but when it comes to our own personalities and knowing self, we're only dealing with one part of the triangulation, and don't even bother. You know what I mean, to get acquainted with the moon and the ascendant. So I think I could go into deeper detail of what other things are important. However, if we allow people to kind of digest, like, hold on, let me see what my moon sign and my ascendant is, then like I shouldn't be, just because honestly, Avi, like our ancestors didn't associate with the sun sign when they met each other. They would associate with the ascendant. I'm an ascendant Cancer. Alrighty, so if we were to meet, you know what I'm saying, and you like, okay, so what's your sign? I would be telling you what my ascendant is, not where the sun placement was.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I yield the floor.
So people can obviously work with you if they want to find these things out, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like, just recently, finishing up, actually, I have to finish the the third cycle. We just completed the Astrology 101 workshop here, right? And we started on the 19th of April and just concluded this Sunday on the 5th one. However, the third recording had to be done over. So we're doing it again, just this third one on Sunday. And people can actually still get their hands on it if they missed it. Right. And it's for the same amount. It's for the same Elemosinary tuition. It's 135 total for the Elemosinary tuition. But people are getting over 20 hours of Astrology 101. And you're getting the 5 original videos, and then there will be so far it's 2 after class extras. And those 2 after classes, I think combined are well over 7 hours already. And so we got another class coming up Sunday to make up for the third one, the third week that just passed, because the video I think got messed up, but I'm going to go over it again. And in that one in particular, we're going over the mathematics so that people can grasp astronomy and astrology. We're going to go over a little bit of Johannes Kepler, a little bit of Ptolemy.
Nice.
Alrighty, Claudius Ptolemy. Alrighty, and so that's why I have this here on the screen, and so this is where people can learn, because I do give not only astrology readings, I give astro literacy courses as well, privately and for groups. Alrighty, and I'm on different social media, giving just little bits and pieces here and there of things or whatever. So that's where people can learn it from or whatever. And pardon this little bleed in here of the light, because I actually have this window right here, so it's making it bleed.
That's okay.
Yeah, so my apologies for the hot spot there. But go ahead, I yield the floor.
No, and I'll put that in the show notes too for people who are listening to this.
Alrighty, indeed.
Yep, definitely. So how much of an effect does the sun sign have on people?
Well, that question, I would say usually, let's say if I met someone, right, and they were a little leery about astrology, but they were, they were curious, and I would go, hey, all right, don't tell me the time you were born, don't tell me where you were born, just tell me the time. I mean, just tell me the date and day, like the month and day. And what I could do is I could show them how I could do what is known in astrology, what I would like to term actually in modifying this, called a modified heliarch chart, where I don't know, just throw out a date, Avi. Come on, just random, throw out a date. Come on, throw out a date.
8/2.
8/2. So is that August 2nd or February 8th? Which one?
That's interesting. August 2nd.
Okay, so we're gonna go August 2nd, right? So now when we're looking at the end of September, right? I'm sorry, I mean August 2nd. We're looking at the end of July into August. We already know we're in Leo, right?
Right.
So normally we see Leo enter, the sun appears to enter Tropic Leo about the 22nd of July on average. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. So July appears to have 31 days. So from, 22 to 31 is about 9 plus 2, because you're in August 2nd. So August 1st, August 2nd. So that's 11.
Right.
So now at about August 2nd, we see now the sun is clearly at 11 degrees Leo. Right?
Right.
So now with that, I can just do an equal house system based on making that sun degree the ascendant. So now I'm doing a modified heliarch chart. I can put that on the ascendant, technically. You know what I'm saying? Some people, when they normally do a heliarch chart, they'll use Greenwich Mean Time, which is the time at Greenwich, England, or whatever, using the prime, meridian on the international dateline, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll put that, and normally, I guess, by being at noon, that would probably put the sun degree in the 10th house. So normally now you wouldn't be a Leo ascendant. You would technically be a it would be a Leo midheaven with a Scorpio ascendant in theory, when reconciling the theory.
Right.
However, what I do to show how the sun affects people or their sun sign, what I'll do is I still just put that sun sign on the ascendant. So now I know, okay, hey, look, you were born August the 2nd, alrighty, since you're born August the 2nd, you possibly anywhere between a 10, 11, or 12 degree Leo. So let's just stick to 11. So with 11 degrees Leo off the top of my head, I'll be like, okay, so your first house is Leo, fifth house is definitely Sagittarius. So that you definitely incorporate play and higher learning. For some reason, higher learning and play is like your thing. You know what I mean? Somebody like that who would be an August 2nd Leo would be someone who literally enjoys going to the library. That's fun for them. However, with a ninth house in Aries, they would be really connected to learning from their head of household, possibly. Maybe their grandmother is really important to them. Maybe that's why they enjoy uh, higher learning type fun, because maybe they were raised by their grandparents and their grandparents did things like crossword puzzles. So now what's fun to them is doing crossword puzzles. Now they grow up and be someone who actually, I guess, ends up making puzzles for people, whether it's crossword or word search. And it starts out just by being born on August 2nd. Do you see how I just went in a brief delineation? You see what I'm saying? To just go off of, and all I did was just go off the sun degree and put that on the ascendant. And now I know 11 degrees Leo is the first house, 11 degrees Sag. And now
your mic cut out that part.
Which part? 11 degrees Sag?
Yeah.
11 degrees Sag is going to be the fifth house cusp, and 11 degrees Aries is going to be the ninth house cusp, because I know in my head that all I have to do now is distribute it. I know that this being the way they communicate and think, Leo being the first house, right? Virgo being the second house, Libra will be their third house. So when it comes to their communication and thinking, they probably like to communicate and think through art. Somebody with Leo who has a third house would be probably someone who the way they communicate is through their dress and their hair. Of course, Leo, which is a lion. How do you recognize a male lion? It's mane. So, someone with a Leo ascendant or a Leo ego would 9 times out of 10 communicate how they feel through their hair, through their beauty, through cosmopolitical expressions or exhibitions, so to speak. I yield the floor.
So, no, I'm glad you took me and everybody through that. I really felt like I went through a navigation just now.
Indeed, Islam.
But so what you're saying is the sun is intensified by the ascendant, or is that what you're saying? Or it plays a large role?
The sun lets me know, according to my studies, someone's ego and personality. It'll let me know also how one tends to come off when you first meet them.
Okay.
How they tend to shine. The sun is also, a lot of astrologers would say, since sun in Moorish Latin, or what we call Spanish, Sol, S-O-L.
Soul. Mm-hmm.
So it's the soul too. However, what dictates that is the moon. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people would also look at it, okay, well, that's why I said it's the way you come off and the way you shine, but the ascendant is the way you do it. The moon is dictating it. The sun is how it, comes off, but how it's done is the ascendant.
Okay, I got
it. So the sun is like, you know how you see somebody and you like, I like them. I don't even know why I like them, but I like them. But it's something that they're giving off. They're radiating something, right? 9 times out of 10, you're picking up on their solar energy.
Now, that brings me to my next question, because a lot of times when people meet me, they think I'm a Scorpio or an Aries. They never think I'm my sun sign. So I would say, how much of an effect do the dominant signs have on you? Does it have more of an effect than your sun sign?
Well, let me get this, put this out there too, because I see how your questions are structured.
Yeah.
Astrology is impulsory, not compulsory. Okay. So you have free will. Alrighty. So even though one may have a sun sign Leo, for example, or someone may not guess your sun sign specifically, that's because either you have made a decision in life at a certain point of your life to be able to transmute certain energies within your ego and personality that may make others may only be able to resonate with things in your chart that you may be actually resonating with more. For example, I have quite a stellium in Scorpio, so a lot of times people will probably, some people have mistaken me for a Scorpio, but it's not hard to tell I'm a Cancer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I have quite a stellium in Scorpio, so my reserve and my mannerisms and how I come off, sometimes people, think it's dark, or how I may position, what I find funny, I guess. My humor, it may come off, twisted, but that's where people be like, oh, you must be a Scorpio. It's not twisted. The thing is, I can see how some people observe a flower?
Yeah.
And like, oh, a rose is so pretty, but the more you go down that rose, you see thorns.
Yep.
And then so you're careful, right? However, imagine being able to see the roots. Scorpio knows the roots and the head.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll sit there and joke about the roots in front of observers of the heads. That's what makes you see how you just laugh. See, you get that because you have strong Scorpio energy. You see, that's why I said it like that, because the reaction that you just gave right now is because I catered to that energy in your chart.
Yeah.
So that you can be able to grasp that, because that's what astrologers are supposed to do. Actually, like, people can go out here and go to many different astrological websites, but you're going to still need an astrologer to really synthesize even some of the most general delineations and synthesis and judgments that are out there online. And I'm not knocking any of the writers that are out there. Get your royalties, alrighty? I'm not knocking it one bit, alrighty? Trust me, I'm about them getting the royalties too. So it is what it is. But anyway, yes, getting to the sun, moon, and the ascendant, Mother Avishai. Yes, like, so if people are resonating more with things that aren't your sun sign, it may be because you're more in touch with, things that are a little less superficial, because one could also look at the sun sign as where you could possibly just be superficial, possibly. That's possible. However, the sun also rules your fifth house in your chart. I'm sorry, whatever house is on Leo in your chart. Naturally, the fifth house. However, if you have the third house on Leo, then the sun in your chart is ruling that third house. So the way that you communicate is like, I'm a star and the world's my stage. That's like, third house on Leo. So I yield the floor.
So my sun sign, as you know, because you did my chart, and I highly recommend going to him to have your chart done and all of it, because it really helped me. My sun is Cancer. My ascendant rising is Virgo, and my moon is Libra. But like I said, everybody always thinks I'm a Scorpio or I'm an Aries, because that's one of my dominants. And my other signs are also, they're deep and in depth. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And at the end of the day, because that's okay. Well, I'll wait till you get to the rest of your questions, because we're about to come into something that I wanted to mention, and I know it's within your question. So I'm going to yield the floor there.
Right. So with the dominance, so what you're saying is your sun sign still has more of an effect than the dominant signs.
The feet help to get the hands to the food that it needs to grab to put in your mouth so that the stomach can digest it.
Here we go.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So it's like, I'm glad everybody is in tune with their heart, because Ayurvedically speaking, or on a medical astrological basis, the sun rules the heart. So it's good people are in tune with their heart, However, it would be good to be in tune with your breast and stomach too. That's the moon.
Right.
And it will also be really great to be in tune with how you do what you do. That's the ascendant.
Right.
All right, I yield.
Okay, so I think that answered my question. What I thought was the dominant signs, I guess maybe I need to make it simpler. I thought the dominant signs were your overall energy. Like, that's how people see you and that's how you present yourself. But I guess that's not correct.
Well, I think it would be best, according to my studies thus far, it's best to take the diverse testimonies within a chart.
Yeah.
And when you can synthesize all the diverse testimonies within a figure or a chart, as we say, but in a figure, then that's called a judgment.
Okay.
And me in my according to my studies thus far, and in how I actually express this craft, alrighty, I don't stick to one thing. I don't really even stick to one system of astrology. I
Okay.
enjoy them. I'm a connoisseur of perspectives. And the reason why I'm saying it like that, the reason why I'm saying I am a connoisseur of perspectives is because, like I know, there's a planet in the chart that tells me who you are, and it's not the sun. There's a planet that will tell me why you are and what's your purpose, and it's not the sun.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
based on a certain practice or technique within a certain system of astrology. The main two systems I normally introduce, are tropic, or what people call Western astrology, what we all know here within what we call the Western Hemisphere on, at Northwestern Mexum.
Yep.
On a Mexum period. And then there's, what we call Vedic astrology, or Jyotisha, which is Eastern, so-called, or Indian, as they call it, our brothers and sisters from the river Sindhu. Alrighty, so it's like, with that being said, I like for us to be able to reconcile, not, what's the word? Do you know how when you just, okay, I'm on this side, cool, this way I'm settling at. All right, that's fine, but recognize that there are so many other systems out there that you can sit here and get yourself read Vedically, tropically, draconically, sidereally. You can get your ninth harmonic read, your seventh harmonic read, your fifth harmonic read. You can get your 10th harmonic read. All of them will be correct. It all depends on the actual astrologer and how they go about analyzing the diverse testimonies and synthesizing a judgment. I yield the floor.
What are diverse testimonies?
So diverse testimony, you've given them one testimony. You said, I'm a sun sign Cancer.
Right.
So that lets me know that the sun, when you manifested from your mom's womb, you have given the testimony that the sun appeared to be in tropic Cancer.
Right.
When facing the eastern horizon, when exiting your mother's womb, when one was to be at that time and place during the time your mom was manifesting you, and someone was to face east, it appeared that Virgo was rising, and one was to check where the moon was at that moment. You given the testimony that the moon appeared to be transiting Scorpio.
My moon's in Libra.
Those are, I'm sorry?
My moon's in Libra.
Oh, pardon me, in Libra. I thought you said, pardon me. My apologies.
No, that's okay.
In Libra, alrighty. So it appears to be in Libra, alrighty. So now you have a testimony. You have given testimony to the sun in Cancer. You've given testimony to the ascendant having a Virgo rise. You've given a testimony to the moon in Libra. Those three testimonies would be considered together diverse testimonies.
Okay.
Alrighty. And I can now do a general synthesis off of that, but that's not a full judgment, because I would still have to analyze any and everything else that's in it. But I could give you just a synthesis and just call it a Trinity judgment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
So with a Trinity judgment for, an ascendant Virgo would have an 11th house sun, because Virgo on the first house, 12th house would be Leo, the 11th house should be Cancer. So that would have you even 11th or 10th house, sun sign. And I'm going off the top of my head here. So now You know what I mean? So if I was to look at it like that, I would say, you know, when it comes to your ego and personality, you really associate, you know, because I know the sun is ego and personality. Cancer is the moon, 11th house and 10th house. 10th house is business and career status. 11th house is friends and gaining. Cancer is mom. So that would be one whose ego and personality would probably be closely associated with working with their mother in some way, shape, or form. Now we've had this conversation before, but I'm giving you general without even reading you per se, because I'm just giving you the keywords.
Right.
You know, sun, ego and personality, creativity. So you're creating. Cancer, mother, home, security, right? 11th house, gains, sudden changes, friends, hopes, wishes, internet. You see what I'm saying? Virgo deals with service and health. Look at what this podcast is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Libra deals with beauty, deals with art. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Look at how you do what you do. Tattoos, you know what I mean? Just like makeup. You see what I'm saying? Like that's consistent. You see where I'm going with this?
I do. Everything has to be beautiful for me. Has to. Life should be beautiful. Absolutely.
That's the way your mama made you. Based on that snapshot of where the planets were, according to when you descended from her womb.
Right. I guess why I said do the dominants play more of a role than the sun side is because I hear a lot of people, especially when it comes to cancers, and it just aggravates the fuck out of me when people think cancers are crybabies. And I'm like, that couldn't be further from the truth for me. Further from the truth.
Again, right? I'm gonna show you something, right? With that, because you could have 4 cancers in one room, right?
Yeah.
You could have a Cancer who was born at 3 degrees, a Cancer born at 9 degrees, a Cancer born at 18 degrees, and a Cancer born at 27 degrees, right? Those different ones, right? All in Cancer though. However, because of where they're placed, they're all going to express that differently. They all may generally have the same ego and personality. However, the tendencies in which they express them are going to be unique. Period.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So what are the houses? Can you name off the houses and who rules the houses for people who don't know?
All right. Now, naturally, I'll give them in natural order, you know. So naturally, in natural order, the houses would let's see if I could do this like this here, right? That's not the best, but you know, I guess I'll share my screen soon.
Yeah.
But you know, the houses, this is not bad. This is kind of behind me. I guess I'll slide my chair over a little bit. I guess I'll slide it a little bit to the left, like Beyonce. And then, yes. All right. So, you know, and looking here or whatever, and, you know, I can just grab my little pad or whatever and just go like, see this black line right here? That's the first house. Cusp. So that's the front door to the first house. And that would be the house pertaining to self. And there's the second house. And the second house deals with finances, you know, possessions, and the third house, communication and thinking, and the fourth house. Now this particular chart right here, right now, if I wanted to give it to you in basics, right? Let's say I did this now. Let's have some fun whiteboarding since you asked, right? Let's have a little fun, right? All right, and let's clear this out. All right, and we slide us up a little bit. Let's clear all drawings, right? Alrighty, so let's have a little fun with everyone and just show them just very briefly, right? What are the houses? Hey, look, I did a blue circle. Alrighty, and I didn't mean to, but okay, let's get a line here and let's kind of boom, shakalaka. Give us a line right there, right? And let's give us a line here. Pardon me if it's not the straightest, but I'm gonna do my best as I can here.
Straight.
Yeah, getting this done. I'm gonna try to make sure that they're 30 degrees apart as much as possible. Do my best here to get 30-degree sections. All righty. Right. Let's see. Doing this without a compass and square. It's kind of fun, kind of not, but it is what it is. All righty. So let's see if we can get about 30 degrees right there-ish. 30 degrees-ish. All right. And about maybe another 30 degrees-ish right there, right? All right. All righty. So, all righty. So now, let me get a pen here. Just a little bit. Draw a little squiggly line. Right? And let's go. 1, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And I did them on red on purpose because, you know, they deal with different areas of life that would normally and naturally pertain to signs that you're familiar with, right? So we'll just do creating, right? Creating. Right, and who's in charge of creating? Rah, the Leo. All righty, and we're gonna do higher learning here, right? Let's back that up like juvenile. All right, there we go. There we go. Higher. All right, learning. Pardon the legibility. All righty. So higher learning, right? And that's normally associated with the arrow of aspiration, Sagittario. Alrighty, so now let's go and get our greens here for our possession house and our service and health house and our career and status house. Right, so this would be our possessions, right? Possessions, right? And this would be our health and service, or those that serve us, health and service, right? And this would be in everybody's life. You know, now the first house might not be on Leo for you. I mean, Aries for you. Like my first house is in Cancer. So that means what happens with myself? Well, Cancer deals with family. So obviously family is important to myself. Right. That's how, that's how I look at that. You know, you're a Virgo, right? Virgo deals with health. So, you know, like I said, this is Taurus. Naturally, that's Taurus energy. Naturally. Oh, that was a not so cool circle making there. Taurus. Virgo, that's your ascendant, Mother Avishai. So health and service is important to yourself.
Very.
See, your first house in Virgo is really connected, right? And, you know, 10th deals with career status, right? So let's put career here. Happy little career, right? Status, like Bob Ross. Let's just put a happy little status here.
I love Bob Ross.
I know, right? All righty, and let's draw our Capricornio glyph there, right? All righties. Now, we're going for some yeller here. Get some yeller. All righty. Put a tree there. Put that tree in a 7 and a 11 right there, too. Right. All righty, and 3 is for, that 1 is shabby that I just made on that last part there. There we go. Oh, there we go. That looks much better. All right, so this is Géminis, Gemini, right? And Libra, where your moon is, so the dictates of your soul. You know what? Let me back that up 1 second, because I am not following the way that I started off, right?
Okay.
So naturally, this would be Gemini's energy, and naturally be Libra's energy, right?
Yep.
So naturally, Libra's energy, right? And Aquario, right? All right, so this is you communicating, right? This is, Avi Unfiltered right here. So
yes.
hold on, let me just use my hyphens, right? Hyphenating, right?
Right.
Put that there. And then here's your moon, dealing with partnerships, right?
Right.
Oh, that again. That is a RT. I want you guys to be able to distinguish it. Partnerships, right? Some would also say relating, right? Relating, all right. Just to put a little there. And this is, this is where, your friends are, very Facebook. The sun, when Facebook went IPO, the sun was at 15 degrees Aquarius. You know, Facebook is big on friends and sharing, and that's what the 11th house is, right?
Right.
Alrighty, so now from there, we got last but not least, our royal 4, 8, and 12, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we know 4 naturally deals with the most marvelous sign ever to be a sign. Not just because you know it's associated with my tropic ego and personality. You know, it's just the best sign ever. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. All right. I just figured I would humor you all. All righty. And there's a Scorpion Pisces right here, right? Pisces right here. All righty. And naturally, you know, the key word I would normally give is home, but it's usually food, also the early childhood home, security as well, because it's on the axis with the 10th house. And, you know, Capricorn is very much about, you know, if Capricorn is the father, I mean, if, you know, the home, 4th house is mother, Capricorn is definitely the father in some cases, a lot. 8th house, you know, 8th house, I'd like to say death and regeneration, but I'll give you a simpler word: inheritances. All right.
Okay.
All righty. And you know, and with inheritances, you know, death and regeneration, people write wills, you know, maybe, you know, and things of that nature. Usually, you know, 8th house energy is where you get along with your in-laws. You'll see people's what they call in-laws. I like to say in-loves instead of saying mother-in-law. I'll say mother-in-love. You
Yeah.
know, and that's usually where they are. You know, your spouse's progenitors. You know, your significant other's progenitors are there, and usually signified by, you know, the 8th house. And last but not least, we have here, I usually tell people this is the self-undoing house, and it's not nothing wrong with that. You know, self-undoing is where you can prove, you know what you're talking about. All righty.
Right.
It's also where you can show your wisdom, right? Where you
So, so for those of you who are listening in, you're definitely going to want to watch this if you need a visual, because he's doing all of this, and I'll have this posted up on YouTube so you can see this chart, this whole chart.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I had no idea I was gonna write it that quick, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
No, you know, not because I wrote it. You know, I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, if I was someone else, you know, viewing it, it's like, okay, well, hey, you know, it's not the best handwriting, you know, for it to be digital on the fly, but hey, you know, I trust it translates well, and I trust that answers your question too, as far as, you know, when it comes to the houses, what, you know, how to look at it, and the houses, you know, pretty important. You know, the planets, I look at the planets, right? Let's just do this for a second, since we're using this board here, right? Let's just do this for a second, right? Let me get a, you know, let's call the planets, if we wanted to put this in terms that people could understand a little easier, we'll look at the planets like the actors,
Okay.
right? The signs will call the script, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh and the house is the stage, right? Aspects in astrology is the plot.
So the outcome.
Well, how things will fare. Yeah, how things will turn out, possibly. Yeah. The tendencies, the outcome tendencies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
look at planets like the actors, signs, you know, like the scripts, you know. So we're sun sign cancers, you and I, Avi. So that
Yep.
means that our ego and personality is acting out the motherly crab. If you're inside our claws, you're protected. If you're outside our claws, will snap you type, you know,
Hell
energy.
yeah.
You know, yeah, because that's a crab in nature. Crab in nature, we're not going to move directly to our goal. We move sideways, you know, because crabs don't move forward, they move sideways to their goal because they
Mm-hmm.
move sideways. That's just what it is. So the ego and personality to a cancer is the same.
Right.
Well, it has the tendency to do that. So I
But
yield.
I was about to ask about the dominance again. Because
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that because when you said when someone like when you're inside the crab, you're protected. When you're outside, the
Yeah, the
crab
claws.
stings, the
Yeah, the claws.
claws stings. But I have other stings based off of my other aspects or signs, whatever in my chart.
Well, my Trinity, like you said, your Trinity is Sun Cancer, Ascendant Virgo, Moon Libra. Me, I'm triple magnetized because I'm so receptive because my Sun and Ascendant is Cancer and my Moon is Scorpio. So I have 6 claws and a stinger.
Right. So your dominants have nothing to do with how you sting.
Oh, my dominance has a whole lot with how my sting could come off.
That's what I said. That's why I said
Yeah, it
I
yeah,
have
it does.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Me, I think I have, hold on, 1, 2. I have 3 also in Scorpio, but 4 in the 5th house though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and most of my 5th house, actually, all of Scorpio and the Placidus system is swallowed up by the 5th house anyway. So I'm very creative with what most people would, you know how they say, how they say Scorpios look at you like this when they like you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they look at this, they look like this at you when they don't like you.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell when they like you when they don't.
Exactly. Resting bitch face all day. Well, not for you, but
For me, it's in the 5th house, so I can be creative with it because 5th house is creativity.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like when people go, "What's wrong with you?" and it's nothing really wrong.
Yes. A
But
lot.
since people are bent on saying something's wrong with you, you just don't say anything and just see how far it'll go. That's that Scorpio sense of humor. All righty. So I
Yeah.
yield. Go ahead. I yield.
So I have Scorpio, Gemini, and I don't know if I should be telling all my dominants.
You don't really have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I just,
But those are 2 of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the dominant thing, dominance is more of a planet or a celestial body that is the dispositor or what we call ruler of a sign. So for me, with a Mars in Scorpio for myself, one would say I have a Mars dominant in Scorpio. If someone had, you know, Mercury, Venus, Mercury in Virgo, they would say they're Mercury dominant.
Right.
So that's what it is with dominance. Dominance is more of an actual graha or celestial body, being in a sign that it naturally rules. So that would be its essential dignity.
Right.
Whereas if it falls in a natural house that it rules, so say you got the sun in Cancer, but it's in the 5th house.
Right.
So that's an accidental dignity because naturally sun rules the 5th house, naturally. But it's in Cancer, so it's not in its essential dignity.
I got it.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's in its accidental dignity by its house placement. So house placement will yield the dignities if it's accidental. So if a sun is in the 5th house but not in Leo, it's accidental dignity. If a sun is in Leo but not in its 5th house, then it's still in essential dignity because it's in the sign that it rules. So the sign holds a little higher precedence when it comes to disposing of, because the actor is acting the script.
Okay.
So the stage wouldn't be as important.
Got it.
Do you see what I'm saying? So if it just so happens that an actor may be from near the Boston Corporation and he happens to do a play that's at a playhouse near the Boston Corporation, accidental dignity, home team advantage type. Did you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some of the stuff you say, I'm not gonna lie, has to, settle. But yeah, I get for the most part.
I'm glad this is recorded. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Can you see if someone's gonna be sick based off of their astrology?
Yes, I love the 6th house reading. Because when I read people's sixth house, wherever your sixth house is, that's where I would normally start.
Oh, okay.
I would do your sixth house reading because it's not a matter of what would make you sick, or are you going to be sick. It's like, okay, what's there? Okay, so for you, right? Since you admitted you're a Virgo ascendant,
Yes.
that means ankles and heart for you would be something to pay attention to with health. The reason why I said ankles and heart, because you being a Virgo ascendant, what's opposite of Virgo is Pisces. So your sixth house would naturally be Aquarius. Opposite of 6 is 12. So that means Leo is on your 12th house. So with that being said, that means that when it comes to your ankles and your heart, that would be the area that I would look to first to make sure that you're always mindful of, so people are like, oh, okay, what you mean ankles and heart? Okay, so I don't know, you play basketball, make sure you have on high tops. Don't be out there in flip-flops because there's a possibility you're going to twist your ankle. Oh, what you mean heart? Okay, well, if, you enjoy smudging or smoking things or whatever, but, cigarettes ain't where it's at, then don't smoke cigarettes because you could have heart issues.
Right.
It's simple stuff just to look at it. The vertebrae is very important too. Like some people may think they have medical issues and they may only need a chiropractic adjustment because sometimes certain parts of the body may be ailing people, but it could be an impinged upon nerve via to a minor subluxation of a vertebra. And what I just said there was a subluxation means minor dislocation pertaining to a part in the spine. So let's say, somebody they feel like they're having sciatica issues. They may need to get their prostate. They may have to go under the knife for their prostate. They might just need a fourth or fifth lumbar adjustment chiropractically because, the fourth and fifth lumbar has the nerves that pertain to the prostate running through it.
Right.
Real simple. You don't have to go under a knife. You don't have to let anybody into your body. And a lot of times, if we really knew how to utilize, and we should, and we're getting there, utilizing the astrology chart along with, chiropractic purposes, and we know how the planets transit, then we can look ahead and see when certain planets are going to either be in certain houses, angling and aspecting certain houses, so that we can prepare, the sentient being that we call patient and or client, right? Our ultimately it's our human family member, our human kinship, you know what I mean? But we can prepare them for that. Alrighty, so it's like, hey, am I gonna get sick? Well, let's actually look at where you are at now. Let's look at where the planets are now. Hey, how did you feel back on such and such and such a day? Because I have, an encyclopedia of medical astrology by Howard Leslie Cornell. You know what I mean? And sometimes, I can tell, like, if, let's say a woman has Mars in Cancer, I know she's having issues with her womb. If a woman has, I don't know, something it's like, because Cancer rules the breast, and it's so funny because Cancer rules the breast and stomach. So when people say, okay, well, what about breast cancer? 9 times out of 10, you got to look to the sign Cancer and see what's going on with the moon, see what's going on with the 4th house.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? All right, I yield the floor.
No, that was interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to say what common illnesses are associated with each sign, which you did touch upon some.
Let's do it. I'm going to do it in axial fashion. Okay. And what I mean by axial, if I mention one sign, I'm going to mention the other one. So I'm going to give you the reflection. So instead of giving you 12,
nice,
I'm going to give you 6. And then in each one, you're going to get the reflection. So on the first axis, you have Aries and Libra. Aries deals with the head. Alrighty, when talking about, your anatomy. So anatomically speaking, Aries is dealing with the head, or when we're speaking of overall corpus, the overall body. Libra, pardon them they're doing a little work outside. So if you guys can hear a weed whacker, so pardon that. They're landscaping out there. Alrighty, so Libra is the kidneys and the renals. So some ailments right there, head and kidneys. Someone could have migraine headaches from not drinking enough water. Taurus and Scorpio is the next axis. Taurus anatomically is the neck and throat. Scorpio anatomically is the sex organs. All righty. So yes, there is a connection to the sex organs and the throat. I mean, for anybody that thought I was setting something up that was a little pornographic there, you can see why people are interested in what they call, quote unquote, deep throating. They're actually exercising, connecting. It's not funny. It's just so weird, but I'm being scientific in my explanation and objective, alrighty, in my explanation. However, they're connecting Taurus and Scorpio.
Is that an ancient practice, deep throating?
I would say that the human being notice their genitalia gives a certain sensation very early in life, so I wouldn't be surprised if human beings were practicing inserting and receiving things, but in that fashion. I would think, and I haven't come across anything other than carvings, pictures, depictions like that. Some things in my encyclopedias, family encyclopedias, and you'll see like these sculptures and pictures, and one would have to really just kind of think of when were these really carved, and are these not just somebody, I guess, taking like a 3D printer and then making it look like it's something that's carbon dated from a long time ago and it's really plastic and not stone. But
right,
you'll see a lot of carvings that look very very a mix between eighth house, which is sex organs, on Aquarius. So eighth house on Aquarius, because Aquarius is the group, right? So that's an orgy, sex in the group, right? So
right.
so yeah, it's like that's what you see in those depictions on those carvings. So one would say, I'm pretty sure that the human might, the human being, the sentient being, may have been curious in how it could express itself, with those lower self or, sexual sensations. Not lower self as far as like their servile. I mean lower self because that's the region in your body. It's lower than your head. So that's what I mean.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. It might be. I mean, but at the same time, you would have to ask the reverse of your question then, because that pertains to what we call medically fellatio. Because
Mm-hmm.
so one would now have to consider or reconcile cunnilingus and go, okay, so now how do you reconcile now that with one, applying, throat chakra energy to, the vagina, I guess, and I
Yeah.
hope I'm not sounding weird to people, but this is how I'm
Oh, you're
very,
not. It's
Avi,
unfiltered.
Avi, you know how I am. So I'm
Yeah.
very very nerdy when it comes to this topic, so to speak. It appears nerdy, but I'm objective. Do you know what I mean? I'm very scientific because I would prefer us to be scientific
Yeah.
as a people on the planet when it comes to this subject, instead
Yeah.
of being, oh my God, it's so nasty. That's so.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was thinking of that. It was like, and like you were talking about earlier, you said some people give off certain energies.
Mhm.
Just like with me and with, with certain women, they see your cleavage out and they'll see another woman's cleavage out and they'll be like, oh my God, she's a hoe, or she's easy, or something like that. I'm not saying people, say that, but then they'll see someone else with the same outfit on and won't think anything of it. And I've said it has to be the energy in the astrology chart.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, sometimes people will put on a mask, because sometimes the ascendant is the mask that we wear
Yeah.
too. So, like, for example, your mask and my mask would be Cancer. Your mask is Virgo. However, when that mask is stripped away, where do we go to now? That's when you go into the sun first, the moon, of course. However, you already know there are two other planets that are really, you could be like, yo, want some real stuff, y'all. I know what you're thinking right now, because I know where this planet is right here with this, and that, and that. And that could make some people uncomfortable. That can make some people fall in love, because now you have someone who has a certain insight for a purpose specifically to keep the energy uplifted, not for manipulative purposes. And when you can work along with someone like that, you can begin to take advantage of things ahead of time. You'll be like, oh, look, Venus is about to be in Pisces at 27 degrees on this date. I don't know, let me go grab a scratch off. I'm not encouraging gambling.
Right.
I'm just saying this is what some people have done. I know some people will look for stuff like that. They'll wait till they'll look at a few days before Venus hit 27 degrees Pisces, and they'll play the lottery and hit.
Nice.
And it really kind of depends on what is aspecting Venus and what else Venus is aspecting. But go ahead, I yield.
No, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be looked at as disgusting. You know, I wish more people talked about, you know, sex and whatever acts of sex more freely than being like, oh my God, you shouldn't say that. You should. It's like, come on now. Yeah. Get over yourself. Get the fuck over it.
Well, I'll say this. I think if people were, I hope I'm not telling on myself. I think if people were more scientific with sex, they would enjoy it.
Yeah.
On a level where they would be objective instead of trying to, I laid it down, or it's another notch in my belt, or girl, I rolled the shit out his face, put his ass to sleep. You ain't got to deal with the pomp and circumstance of I conquered, or let me stick a flag, and like, no, it's more of like, let me see if I spin my tongue this way, since I have a pretty strong energy in my chart dealing with this. What if I apply this to her in this direction, and then, oh, look, okay, there's the sprinklers. You know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't turning, the knob right, I guess, if people, or I wasn't stimulating the clitoris and or periurethral gland in a fashion where it allowed her to enjoy an orgasm. That's what I mean by being, that's the difference in one being, silly and immature with sex, and then actually going, hold on, let me make sure my fingernails are clipped, so that if I do actually insert my fingers to rub your periurethral gland while I'm trying to run tongue circles around your clitoris, and now what you're doing is you're governing family. You're starting a situation where now mother and son are trusting each other to please one another. Alrighty. There may be more purpose to not argue and be objective in decision making. And then if mother decides to spark off and make, child and image pertaining to son that she has chosen to spark her off, now you are bringing in champions, and you're going to teach them to govern themselves accordingly. And you're not going to continue a Roman mindset in doing so, being, Moorish and honoring our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Then we can continue to build and teach them things about, life and sex in a non-perverse manner, you know what I mean, according to the Roman yoke and mindset that we have been forced to be under for so many centuries. I yield the floor.
No, that was good. Thank you for mentioning that. So you could finish telling the common illnesses of each sign.
All righty. Now, the Gemini and Sagittarius axis. Now, one Gemini is the lungs, arms, shoulders, hands. Sagittarius is hips and thighs. So, with lungs, arms, shoulders, and hands, one may have naturally issues, something with the wrists, maybe, something with the arms, like, some people may have shorter arms than the other one. Maybe somebody could be missing a hand, but natural normal stuff would be asthma, because Gemini, is the lungs. Hips and thighs with Sagittarius would make someone possibly, usually, let's say if someone has like some type of hip dysplasia or something like that, like you could have that. Maybe someone who, what's a really good one for Sagittarius? When it comes to the hips and thighs. Okay, I got one. when sometimes people may have a higher hip, some people may be actually really wide in the hips. You know, those are things too. They're not really looked at as illnesses. However, they could be looked at as abnormalities.
Yeah.
In comparison to what we may consider being normal. But they're not actually abnormal. They're just an expression of their natal chart.
Right.
And how whatever's going on in Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying, is what's making them look like that. All right. Cancer, Capricorn. Cancer is breast and stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn is the knees and the skeleton. Alrighty, and the bones. Alrighty, so with Cancer, breast and stomach cause breast cancer. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of an attack on some cosmic energy that's actually really powerful. You know, you got these people out here with these fuck cancer campaigns. They have no idea they're shutting themselves down.
Oh, wow.
In lieu of protesting against cell multiplicity called carcinoma.
Right.
Right? All right. Let's continue. With the bones, one would say, you know, marrow issues, maybe bone density issues. When it comes to, you know, Capricorn or whatever, I'm just trying to give you physical things. On the physical level with Leo and Aquarius, that's the next axis. Leo is the heart, Aquarius is the ankles. So one could twist their ankles playing basketball. Mm-hmm. One could have heart issues, heart palpitations. Maybe, you know, smoking isn't good, you know, for the heart. Maybe not eating fried foods or having high cholesterol things, possibly, you know. Last but not least, Virgo and Pisces axis. Okay, so Virgo is all about health, but it's dealing with the nervous system and intestines. So the nervous system, the physical nervous system is like your nails and your hair. So usually you can tell what's going on with people. Like some people, if they have like alopecia,
yeah,
I would check to see what's going on with Virgo. I would maybe even check to see what's going on where Mercury is. Maybe a little bit of what's going on with Aries too, because Aries is the head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Pisces, the feet. Hands down the feet. Hands down the feet, right? Yeah. Maybe I should say feet down the feet. No, okay, anyway. Toes down. Anyway, and it's so funny how the bottom of the feet is called soul again. Right? There's the word soul again, right? So and then you'll be able to see why when you see certain zodiac pictures of someone's head and their body's bent, you know, to their feet touching back to their head, because that's the zodiac going from Aries to Pisces, right? So, you know, with Pisces, one, you know, people may have, you know, jam toe, may have broken their foot, athlete's foot, common, you know, so-called illness pertaining to the feet. And all these things can actually be traced and treated. Diagnosis and prognosis. With me, you know, if you know, one time it was one mother who suffered from macular degeneration. I know that Aries and Taurus rules the Atlas place, which is the first cervical in the vertebra, and the axis place, which is the second cervical in the vertebra. And the nerves for the eyes run through those two vertebrae. So I suggested that she go see a chiropractor. And she went from having black spots in her field of vision to being able to see street signs blocks away after about maybe a month and a half treatment to the chiropractor. All because I said, you might need to go and get that adjusted. I ain't do deep. I ain't double, toil and trouble, fires burn and cauldrons bubble. I didn't do none of that.
I love that movie.
I didn't do none of that. That really sucks that you can't see. Let me check We see what Howard Leslie Cornell says about, hey, oh, well, it's the first and second cervical. Why don't you go get that adjusted?
Yeah. Nice. So thank you for giving us all of that, those sides. So astrologically, what is happening right now with this coronavirus and all this craziness? Can you give us some insight to that?
Oh, the best thing, I think William Cooper said it the best in Behold the Pale Horse. Turn off the fucking TV. Because man, that Saturn Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and I saw it coming a couple years ago. Even when I was planning, just preparing myself for Uranus to appear to enter Taurus, I was like, man, it's about to come a time. And I was telling people, I said, yo, I think it's about to come a time where you're not going to be able to go shopping unless you have a nationality card, because the National Guard are going to be in front of it. But it first manifested as masks. I was close. You know what I mean? Because I've heard like Brother Taj mention it in lectures before. And I was like, that would be interesting. And I started charting. I just started looking. I'm like, let me look ahead. I said, yo, Uranus and Taurus is a sudden change in agriculture. Sudden change in values. Uranus is sudden change. Taurus is values in agriculture. So I'm like, it ain't been like Uranus ain't been in Taurus. It's been 84 years since then. So now if you go back 84 years ago and look at that time, it's not really hard to tell what's going on right now. Oh, it's not hard to tell at all. It's not hard to tell. So if you go back, okay, let's go back 84 years. This is 2020. Take away 20 from 84, you're left with 64 left. Take away 60 from 2000, you add 1940, right? And then you take away what's left is, what did I say? 4 more years. So that's what, 1936. Look at where we at. What was going on in 1936? Social Security Act. People are trying to secure themselves socially right now and having a hard time doing it because it's something going on in their mind. There's been a sudden change, right? That's with the group. That's Uranus, right? In values. People are valuing. Look, think about it. Think about it. Churches are shut down. That proves that their God isn't who they say it is. And that's no disrespect to them.
No, truth is truth, man. Truth is truth.
Because if you really believed, whoever you are, your religious leaders, don't go looking for 2 pieces of wood, 3 nails, and a crown of thorns for me. I'm just your brother. I'm just telling you the truth. You wouldn't allow someone to use tyranny and despotism to threaten you, to say that you can no longer enjoy your religious exercise. That's okay. So now at this point, treaties being violated, so, and a lot of people, the common people, aren't familiar, because the door is the Constitution. You know that Article 3, Section 2 in the Constitution and Article 6 in the Constitution, it lets you know that all treaties are still legit. And if you're checking out Brother Abdullah, Iltalit Mosey Bey, and Mother Tamara and Brother Shem, they're reiterating these things that Brother Taj has been shared. You know what I mean? Prophet Noble has been shared. It's on RV Bay Publications websites and many other Active Moors websites and things like that. So a lot of the common people don't know this. So when you started seeing all these people put these masks on, I'll say it like Brother Taj has, communicated to me. The masks are really off now, because what you're saying is I mean, they just are,
that's just how he says it.
The masks are really off now. So it's like, since that's the case, it's letting you know, like myself, I do not go anywhere, and 9 times out of 10 I'll have my documentation or some form of communication precede my special appearance. I don't care if I'm going to Safeway.
Okay.
I'm going to and I'll call, hey, may I speak to the manager on duty, please? Yes, how are you? Yes, I'm having my intentions to come there to do business with you. This is what I intend to do when I get there. Due to the fact that I don't have to disclose, my medical privacy according to HIPAA.
Yeah.
Right. Since they're corporate, they have to follow all corporate policies, right?
Absolutely.
So So since, according to HIPAA, I don't have to disclose to you that, carbon dioxide inhalation is, against, my better judgment and, against, the prosperity pertaining to my overall health. So I care to still come and do business with you because I'm under occupation. And you have resources that I should not be exchanging for anyway in the first place because I'm home.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't really have to, I don't say in the conversation, right there, I was just kind of just throwing some extra stuff. But the conversation is normally just, hey, I just wanted to give you the due respect to let you know I'm not coming to be, belligerent or anything of that nature. However, I just want you to know that I'm coming there. And when I come there, I'll come right to you so that you know. And because you got to remember, there's a public watching. And the public is breathing their own carbon dioxide inhalation. So they're not in their right mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No, they can't be. You can't even think that you're speaking to someone who has sense at this moment, because now they are practicing doing something that they have never done coming out of the womb.
Right.
You breathe. And according to my HVAC studies, because doing heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, having that certification under my belt as well.
Nice.
78% of the air we're breathing is nitrogen anyway. So it's not carbon dioxide. That's something that we have learned that's what trees and other plant life process. Alrighty. And then, they, reverse engineer it for us, so to speak, synthesize it in a way and, in a divine, relationship and cycling that energy back to us for us to breathe, giving off what has been termed as oxygen, but a lot of the science, has been for our social engineering and conditioning so that we're worker bees for, others that seek to only take advantage of the Earth's resources and make the people feel through psychological operations such as pandemics or so-called corona being crown virus, being poison, etymologically speaking. So what you saw revealed due to Uranus and Taurus and that Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, because Pluto, transformation, Saturn, essential. So essential transformation, Capricorn is structure. Uranus, sudden changes. Taurus, values. So since you have that energy going on there, right?
Right.
What you're really dealing with is poison in people's crown chakras. So now people don't. So the masks are off, and so people that have masks on, it proves that they can't think for themselves. They have no real fight in them, because those are the same people that will fight people that look like them. Will draw pistols and knives on them, and they won't fight people oppressing them.
Yep.
So what's being done is really a mummers parade in front of everybody's face. Mum's the word. So they're mumming you. They're shutting you up. And a lot of people, some people are just with it because they are getting financial kickback to keep it going.
Yep.
Watch the news. You'll see there's Trump and somebody else at a podium. Trump and that guy at the podium won't have on no mask, but everybody else in the background will have masks on. It's like, this is the right thing to know, man. You guys are using signals. It's funny to me because I know how to read the signals.
Yeah.
We all know it's one big, you're a Moor, you're wearing your fez, and it's not pinned down at 33 degrees, and you're speaking the truth openly, teaching astrology. At the end of the day, it's like, there are people that, got sodomized and got to give notes every month, you know what I mean? Even wear a fez in secret or whatever. So it's like, come on, man. Like, hey, don't be mad at me because you're a sellout, and now you're realizing
that the crazy, decision,
man. That the decisions that you've made, you never really had to make them, but people don't know themselves because they don't have their astrology chart.
Right.
That culture has been stripped of them. However, if you go back to 1913, and prior to that, but 1913, Prophet Noble Drew Ali established the Old Canaanite Temple near Newark, New Jersey. By 1916, the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the world was well on its way. By 1925, we organized as a civic organization. You know what I mean? Near the Chicago Corporation, according to, the laws and requirements of the Secretary of State for the Illinois State Republic. All righty. So there are things that have been ignored. And the conditions of the people and where they are now is because they ignored prophet, noble duality. And I'm not saying that from a dogmatic perspective, because I use the word prophet. A prophet is a thought pertaining to all matriarchal law or all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac manifested in human flesh. That's what a prophet is. So everybody's a prophet by nature. Right. It's just that when this one particular one who's universal, he just came to us Moors first because we needed him the most. All righty. Because he already saw that great and awful day is yet to come, and it's here. Look at people. They're breathing their own carbon dioxide. Holy breath. They don't have it anymore. I yield the floor.
No, that was really good. I'm glad you mentioned all of that and then some. I'm glad you said the truth. The truth is refreshing, and this is what a lot of people are not sharing is the actual truth. Truth is truth, and facts are facts. So I'm glad you shared that. I was gonna say, what's gonna happen next with all of this, you think?
I think what's going to actually happen to people is they're trying to get the people to they want to execute King Alfred plan so bad, like Executive Order 11490 Rex 84 plan, because when the people that the American, I'm not going to say the true American, I'm not going to say the real American. American is the various copper tone people founded by early European settlers. Alrighty, so when the people who are bound to the land by heritage, really fight. I ain't just talking about Freddie Gray, right? I ain't talking about whatever else was used in a Truman Show, Jim Carrey. Everybody's really being watched and signals are being thrown at you. You think they're your thoughts, but they're really not your thoughts. You need to learn how to enjoy hypnosis from another way and protect yourself. But anyway, way it's going is, people are going to end up, think about it. I know somebody that took a bus, right? Family member. Okay. They're not going to wear a mask. But think about how many people now are blaming them or accusing them for compromising everyone on the bus. Now think about this.
That's so stupid.
Think about it. How many people are wearing masks and saying that they'll be compromised, right? Do they have a telescope?
No.
Do they have a microscope?
No.
Do they have slides and iodine, or do they have little petri dishes that they can analyze?
Nope.
But yet they're medical experts now all of a sudden. And these are people. Oh, I'm grown. I go to work. I pay my bills, and I pay my. You're a ward of the state.
And a minor.
You're a minor, and you're being treated like a mental patient that is chattel property. I have somebody, there's a cat here. I wish I could show you the cat that's here, right? This cat right now has on this plastic cone because it's got a PU surgery,
urethra?
Scoptomy or something like. In other words, they had to cut my man penis so that he could pee past the portion that had granulations in his bladder or whatever. So it's horrible. Yeah. But it's my people's cat. It ain't mine, right?
I know. Long
story short, this cat's human mom, pet mom, whatever, could not go into the veterinarian. And I thought about something. I had to think for a second. I said, it's a pet hospital. They're not letting the humans in unless you stand outside and wait or have an appointment, and you got to have on a mask. And then I was like, okay, so how many of the animals have on the masks when they go in? Right? Now, didn't I just use the term chattel property?
Yeah.
Chattel is French for cattle. That really means the people that think they're grown because they work jobs and pay bills. That's what they think they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They have no idea that they're being treated worse than the cat's going to get their penis chopped.
Damn. When you put it like that. And it's true. It's all facts. Like, this could be research. People always get offended. It's like, listen, this is not the podcast for you then. But that's the truth. That's the fucking truth. Hey.
What you gonna do? Are you gonna get mad at me? Oh, let's get pitchforks and 2 pieces of wood and a crown of thorns and 3 nails. Let's nail them to the cross. Why? It's going to be more after me, and so many on the planet now that's telling the truth. The only problem is that there's a huge enough energy out there that still has the majority of the people scared. It's
Yep.
just it's fear. And then when you got people like us, then they put so much bad publicity out there because you'll have people that are coming into the truth about their nationality and birthrights,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to do it honestly, and they have no idea that a lot of these people that are working policy enforcement, call themselves police, military, or whatever, and if they're the type people that are not really about uplifting fallen humanity because they really want to act like this is Rome because they are with the Masonic code to kill the Moors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Alrighty, so since that's the case, they're going to keep acting like this isn't Morocco and this is Rome, and they're going to keep doing their agenda. So to add to that, the people are going to fight, not because I say so. I see it
Right.
in the chart. The people, and I'm telling you, it's going to be to a point. It ain't going to be enough tanks and guns to stop these people because I don't think people are going to be able to deploy stuff fast enough because it's going to be people on the inside that they think is on their side that's
Mm-hmm.
going to immediately, on a drop of a dime, change, and it's going to be in our favor. And it's going to be like, whoa, you thought Cruella de Vil's minions were really loyal to Cruella de Vil.
Mm-mm.
Something happened in the stars, where Neptune, which rules the sea, made them go, something ain't right about this shit.
Mm-hmm. You get tired of this stupid, control, and it's just silly. It's
Cruella's
silly
the
to
only
me.
one that's fat. Why? Why Cruella the only one eating?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, motherfuckers is gonna be on some.
some bullshit.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Cruella thought she had power. I'm telling you, it's going to be. You ever, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna yield the floor. You ever seen Waterboy?
Yes.
And the coach ain't get his confidence back until he, looked at his rival coach as either a baby or a puppy.
Mm. I didn't
It's
see
going
that part.
Look at Waterboy again when the
Okay.
coach who Adam Sandler's character was, being a Waterboy for, the coach that stole his playbook, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in college, Fonzie's character, the one who played the Fonz in Happy Days, he's the coach that's lost his confidence. But he gains his confidence back once he, imagines the rival coach being whatever he doesn't fear. And the two things he doesn't fear is babies and puppies. And then he
Mm-hmm.
was able to have his confidence back. It's gonna be a sad day for people using military force when the people only see babies and puppies.
Yeah, that's how I see it now. That's how I saw it from the beginning. Well, you already know my story, you know, but a lot of people don't know that. That's why I'm like, I'm not the one to come for, but okay. Anyways,
At all.
at all.
Yeah,
Thank you, Hasan. He
I,
knows me well.
I get it. I get it. So
Yeah, like, yep, whatever. You could keep talking. Yep. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, okay, I got you.
absolutely, absolutely.
But this was so much fun. This is probably one of my favorite interviews. I've said it before, but this has to be one of my absolute favorites.
Let's look into the future real quick before we go. Let's look at when you're going to actually, because a lot of people don't know that when you're dropping this is going to be in the future from now.
All
Right.
right, June 2nd, this is going to premiere.
Right. So right now, according to my clock, it's 2:50, 14:50. All righty. It's at 2:50 post meridian Eastern. This is May 20th, 2020. Right.
Right.
I said I was going to share my screen, right, and
Yeah.
show them real quick a chart of where you are, right, during that time when you post this. And you said, yeah, I'm going to post it at about 1 a.m. Right.
That's when most of it gets aired, like Spotify, and Spotify has been on the. I'm not going to talk about Spotify right now, but go ahead.
That's all good. No need to shamelessly plug them anyway. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. So you're near the Hartford Corporation, Connecticut State Republic. All right. And let's say you released it there on 2nd June 2020 at about 0100. Look at where the ascendant is, right? This is the ascendant right here, guys. It's going to be at 1 degree Pisces, 28 minutes. So it's already dealing with dreaminess and wisdom, right? So this particular podcast is going to have Pisces freshly on the rise. Alrighty. And it's funny because I have a 10th house in Pisces. So that's pertaining to my career. So my career house will be rising, but this specific portion of it will be within my 9th house before it hits my 10th house cusp. So definitely this wisdom in higher learning, active flooding. Some people would look at Neptune, pardon me, as flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this ideal flooding or ideal illusion, ideal imagination, active imagination, self-activating imagination pertaining to wisdom. That's when you're going to actually be releasing this. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about astrology. That's self-activating wisdom.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So that's when you're going to release this, right?
Yes.
Look at what and what rules Pisces is Neptune in the modern astrology. So Neptune is there, but let's look to Jupiter. Look at where Jupiter is at 26 degrees Capricorn,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just about 2 degrees more away from the 12th house cusp. And the 12th house, you normally deals with Pisces energy, right? So you're going to be there expanding on that energy. It's very dream-like energy I see there. And with, it being in Capricorn there and Saturn in the 12th house, right? Saturn's, however, is it's funny because it's hard to access Saturn because the 12th house cusp is in Capricorn along with the 11th house cusp, and the first house cusp is in Pisces. So when there's no house cusps in a sign and there's a planet there in a sign that there's no house cusp, it's like trying to get into a room that has no door unless you go through another room first. So here we would have to rely on Uranus right here in Taurus being ruled by this Mars here. So it's going to be huge. I mean, huge. And people are going to be really reasserting their values when it comes to this podcast and you releasing it at this date. All righty. And now that just makes me think, where's Cancer then? So you got 6th house. Look at that. Look at that. The moon from Libra, because you have a moon in Libra, you said, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're going to be releasing it right around you having a lunar return. The moon in Libra is ruling over the house pertaining to creativity, sex, children, the center stage, that's the 5th house, as well as health and service. And we are both Cancers. You see that?
Yes.
That's how you look into the future.
That's how you look into the future, folks. I see folks.
Alrighty. So I guess to close on out or whatever, anybody want, they can get a reading or whatever from me, or they can do the astro literacy courses. Like I said, we're still, even though the Astrology 101 workshop 2020 is complete, we have it archived, so people can still get their hands on it for the eleemosynary tuition pertaining to 135 notes in lieu of lawful money via Cash App, utilizing the caduceus symbol, or what we call the $sign, our Astrology Street, OUR, right? Let me get that. I thought I had a ticker down there. OURASTROLOGYSTREET. That's our Astrology Street for the Cash App or whatever. And of course, I can be reached at 7hillstar@gmail.com, right? And you guys can get your mirror sessions done. The mirror session is an astro literacy course where we learn astrology. You learn astrology through self-analysis. The medical astrology report, you can get the reading as well, you can do. Then you also have the Who Am I and reading and What's My Purpose readings. And they are, different. It's 101 notes in lieu of lawful money for the eleemosynary tuition for the mirror session. It's 50 notes in lieu of lawful money for the eleemosynary tuition for the medical astrology reading. And the 101 session, we spend about 2 to 3 hours. The medical session, we spend about an hour and 20 minutes. The What's My Purpose reading, 30 notes in lieu of lawful money for about 30 minutes, about 45 minutes. Alrighty. But that's the eleemosynary tuition for that. And finally, 20 notes in lieu of lawful money for the eleemosynary tuition for the Who Am I reading, where we spend about 15 minutes to about maybe 25 minutes to a half an hour tops. And that's just the introductory stuff. Of course, I do synastry for relationships. If, I want to know if this is the right cat to get, we can do compatibility with you and your pets, or your babies and who teaches them, or, hey, I think this healer is good for me, or me and this healer compatible. I can look into all of those things.
I need to do that because I'm singular.
Hey, it's not hard. It's not. Hey, I'm singular too, to be completely honest. So to speak. I mean, we're all singular sentient beings, but yeah, I mean, you can find out what are your compatibilities, possibilities. So and I'm very neutral. Even though I'm a sun and I'm an astrologer, I'm very neutral in my readings. I don't really give an opinion as much as I just use my intuition to do my readings with, as well as my keywords and my library of things that I have. As you can see, I have books and software already. So
Right.
in different diverse types of astrology software, as you see Sirius behind me there, but Astrolog right there. It just depends on how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? So, but I yield the floor, Mother Avishai. I trust that I said everything that was germane to your topic in your podcast.
Yes, you did. And I thank you so much for coming on the show, and you're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah, let me know how the people react, and we'll see what we can get going or whatever. Maybe we can do some readings live. Maybe we can get some people to come on and and maybe hey, I want to come on in. Maybe we can put something together and it won't get cut off, after 40 minutes or whatever, when it's more than just 1 or 2 people, how they go. But let's see what we set up, you know what I mean? Because I'm down with it.
That'd be great. So I'm gonna stop recording this. But yes, I'll put everything in the show notes, and then
Did you hit pause? Did you stop the recording, or did you hit pause?
No, I'm gonna stop it right now.
All right, cool.